Hello everyone and welcome back to another video review. Today I'm taking a look at Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series, whatever you want to call this, Clunker Bumblebee versus Barricade. But before we take a look at the toys, let's take a look at the box. So here we have our special Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging here. We've got, I'm not actually sure who this is. I guess this is Evergreen Bumblebee, maybe, question mark. Then we have G1 Bumblebee, more Evergreen. I mean, it's not Cyberverse, so I guess it's Evergreen Bumblebee. And then we have original Marvel Comics Bumblebee. Of course, this is Studio Series numbers 27 and 28, Clunker Bumblebee and Barricade from Studio Series, as you can see on the side here. Of course, this is for ages 8 and up. Of course, that's just suggestion. They have to put that on there. Manufactured by Hasbro. Here we have the duo on the side right here. Barricade and Clunker. Clunker Barrelbee. I don't know. Clunker Bumblebee and Barricade. Oh, I can't believe I messed that up. Of course, that is 27 and 28. And then here on the back, we have the toys B Transformers in 22 steps, Barricade in 21 steps. Of course, it's inspired by the first Transformers movie. B is a GM product, and then of course, Barricade is a Ford product, and of course on the back, Barricade and B face off in a battle for Sam Witwicky, aka alias Ladies Man 217. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our very different box art this time around, and yeah, here we have Clunker Bumblebee versus Barricade. So as far as I'm aware, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line is a Target exclusive. So these are repackages of pre-existing toys that you can pick up at your local Targets if you manage to find them. It's basically just kind of a little placeholder. Hey, here's some way to repackage some pre-existing figures, and I am very happy for that because I missed out on Barricade when he came out, like last year, year and a half, somewhere back then. I saw him once at my local Walmart at the time when I was still in college. It's like, okay, so maybe it's been more like 2 years at this point. Anyway, I saw him and I was like, oh hey, Barricade's out. Well, I don't need to pick him up today. I will pick him up later because now that I've seen him once, I am sure that I will see him again. Never saw him again, which really irritated me. But you know, that happens in the toy collecting world. So yeah, never saw Barricade again, which was very, very annoying. Clunker Bumblebee, on the other hand, I actually have the, and we'll take a look at him here in a minute, I actually have the Studio Series 1 release of Bumblebee, which is, you know, this older Camaro B. If you'll remember, a problem with that release of the figure is that there was not a bar in the hinge that connects the roof to the rest of the figure. So it ended up kind of, just being able to fly off and stuff. If you can go back and watch my original review of that Studio Series 1 Bumblebee, and I will say that for me, it's not a deal breaker. It's a slight annoyance, yes, but it wasn't really something that I really cared about that much to where it's like, this figure is now horrible and I hate it. So I was kind of fine with it. So when they released Clunker Bumblebee, I'm like, okay, paint work looks better. I'm glad that they put that bar in there to fix the roof, but I didn't really care about picking him up since I already, had a version of the figure. However, when it came to this 2-pack being released very recently, and it was a way to get Barricade, it's like, okay, it's been 2-3 years since I picked up that original version of B. This one is an improvement. I know that from when it was released originally. It's like, maybe it's worth the money to get the Barricade and to upgrade on B a little bit. So I went ahead and sprang for that. So go ahead and take a look at Bumblebee here, and he doesn't look good. And because he doesn't look good, he looks great, which I know is confusing. But of course, there's a lot of rust, a lot of paint that's been chipped off, and all that stuff on him. And because of those things added to the vehicle, he looks much more screen accurate, and he looks very good. His state of kind of not looking good makes him look good. So yeah, I do like all the added details they've added to B to really make him look all beat up and stuff. I think he looks very, very good. Now, one slight thing that I remember people complaining about with the release of this B and the last version is that if you look closely, the door and the little bits of the window here are a slightly different yellow. That's more of yellow as compared to this, which is more of an orangey yellow. So some of these parts aren't the exact same colors, and it's a little more evident on this side, I feel like, where that yellow on the door is very much a different yellow, which is more of an orange from the rest of the toy. So some people complained about that. I remember seeing some people complaining about that back in the day when this figure and the Studio Series 1 version of this was released as well. It's definitely more noticeable on the Studio Series 1 version of the figure, which I guess we can go ahead and bring in now. So as you can see, exact same toy, pretty much, just some different paint. I think that issue is a little bit more noticeable on this guy, because this is like the pristine version, so the door being different color is a bit odd. The door being a different color on this version, I think works actually, because he's old, he's beat up, so it's like maybe these doors aren't the original, or maybe the paint's just faded a little different on the doors because a different type of paint was used for the doors, something like that. So I think it works on this version of the figure. Not so much on this version. It's a little bit more obvious and noticeable, but on Clunker Bee here, I think it works. So as we can see, pretty much the exact same vehicle, the exact same figure minus some different paint. I am questioning this, like, why did they forget to paint these bits here? So that's a little annoying, I feel like. But that's like the only annoyance with this figure. Otherwise, with the vehicle mode, in terms of paint, is that it's just kind of annoying that they didn't continue to paint that stripe. It's like, you did it on that one, so why not this one? I don't know if the original release was like that or not, but yeah, so that's slightly annoying, but it is nice to have a more beat-up, screen-accurate version of Bee. Moving on here, we have Barricade, and his vehicle mode, I'm a little bit more, I'm a little less thrilled with. I like it. I think it's good, but there are a couple issues with this. This is definitely a figure that has a case of the transformation is good. It's just really a matter of making sure everything is clicked into place. And if you don't get everything clicked into place just right, then like the vehicle mode just doesn't come together, and I really find it annoying whenever that happens. One of those cases is right here with the little thing up in front. I'm not sure what this thing is called, but yeah, it's this piece. It's just made of a soft rubber, and so it's supposed to just click in here, but it just doesn't, as you can see, because it's a soft rubber. It's malleable, so it just kind of, yeah, and that is annoying. That is super annoying that it doesn't click in properly. Now, I have managed to pretty much get the rest of him clicked into place here. And I think I finally really kind of realized the big sticking point and why does this figure not click in very well. And it has to do with these pieces here, with the windows. The windows are on these little hinges that make them fold back when he's in robot mode. And because of that, these things, kind of tend to flop about a little bit whenever you're getting him transformed. So it does take some doing, and if these things are not like exactly lined up and put underneath and put where they belong, then it just like throws off the whole rest of clicking the vehicle into place. So that is a little annoying, and also a weird omission is that he is missing his To Punish and Enslave insignia here on the side. So I have a couple little nitpicks with the vehicle mode here, this being like an actual complaint, I feel like. But otherwise, I think it definitely looks good. It looks the part. I think it works. Pretty much everything else is perfect. The little 911 thing here on the back. But I question why they left off the To Punish and Enslave. I mean the fact that Disney's changing around the marketing for Boba Fett's ship, the Slave One, which I will always call it that because that is its name. It has been since forever. And now they're going with the model of the ship, the Fire Spray, because slave is like it's like they don't want to market a toy that has slave. And it's like, is that the reason they left off To Punish it and Slave? But it's the bad guy. I mean, it's the bad guy that has that on there. I don't know. So anyway, so yeah. Some slight annoyances with the vehicle mode, but otherwise it looks good. If we can focus in here. Come on, camera. Focus in. Does not want to. There we go. So, little Decepticon insignia there. So yeah, I mean the vehicle mode is unfortunate. Those couple issues, it would be a whole lot better. I mean when I hold that in, that just drastically improves the look right there. I can kind of overlook the the missing to punish it and slave thing, but this that's whatever. The windows, it's like, okay, you figure out that's the problem. You can get everything else plugged into place and it works pretty well, but this bit is just super annoying. I really find this super annoying, and it's like it really just kind of adds a frustrating. I feel like I need to have him, I need to get him pressed up against something and get him to stick there for a couple days, so that way the rubber will stick in place. Because these pieces here, it's like you can't really. Yeah, you can't push them together, and that doesn't lock it into place. So that part is really annoying. I don't know why they went with a soft rubber on this. It would have just been easier if this were a piece that just like a regular plastic piece that like slid up into the hood on a hinge or something like that, instead of just being this weird soft plastic. I think that was definitely a mistake, but oh well. So go ahead to bring in another comparison here. Here we have, and whoo, boy, is this a difference. Here we have the original 2007 deluxe release of Barricade from all the way back when the first movie first released. So obviously a grand difference here between a toy from 2007 and a toy from 2019, I think is when this guy was released. Because he's only figure number 28. So yeah, I think this is a 2019 figure release. That sounds right. So, yeah. It is kind of funny to see the size difference. But of course, Studio Series is striving to be in scale with itself, so that way all Studio Series figures are in scale with one another. So it makes sense that he is so much smaller than his original counterpart from back in the day. His original counterpart from back in the day, which has the To Punish and Enslave insignia on there. So I am noticing an odd change. So the police is written that way, but the police is written that way on there. So that's kind of interesting. But obviously they are the same car, and they do look the part. So move that Barricade off to the side. Now, briefly, before we get down to the transformation, these two figures do come with accessories. Bumblebee comes with his cannon here, which is just completely painted out in silver. This is another reason I didn't pick up this version of the toy back when it first came out. It's like, why did they... For comparison, here is the one from Studio Series Release 1. They actually put in the paint work. It's not like it's that much more yellow. It's like a couple pieces are yellow, so I don't know why they left that blank. Not that it matters for me, because of course, I have the proper thing. But that'll just click into there for storage. And then Barricade has his little saw blade thing, which I don't like this thing. I'll get into that more when we get to the robot modes. But this thing is just kind of stupid. I've never liked it. It looked fine in the movie, but I really wish that Barricade's accessory would have been like Frenzy or a gun, as opposed to this thing. And the storage for it is pretty stupid too. It just plugs in underneath there, and then you have a cop car with a giant spinny thing of death. So, yeah, not the best weapon storage for Barricade. Bee's works. I thought it worked fine on the original release, but Barricade's accessory is dumb, and I'll get into that more later. And its storage is dumb. I just think that it looks really stupid. But oh well, what are you gonna do? So now we are going to get down to transformation. We will start with Bumblebee, just because he's the 27th figure. So we'll take a look at the 27th figure before we get to the 28th figure. And of course, if you have seen my review for the original Studio Series 01B, or you have this figure, or if you have that figure and you don't have this one, well, there's not going to be too many surprises here. It's going to be pretty much the same, because it is the same toy with just a few minor cosmetic differences, and of course, the rod in it to keep that roof in place. So we'll go ahead and just start getting things untabbed here. This door seems to like to really stay in place. Come on. There you go. All right, so now we have all of that untabbed. We can start getting some things pushed up here. Just getting them ready to go. There we go. That I've always had some trouble with. Let's go ahead and bring down the... Oop, okay, that arm popped off, but that arm is kind of supposed to pop off, so that's not really that surprising. So now that we have the arms up a little bit, we'll go ahead and bring these out so we can bring the arms out. Go ahead and, oh dear, I'm totally mangling this arm. I'm destroying this entire arm. All right, so that arm is out. Let's go ahead and put the arm back together. All right, I think I've gotten it situated on there again. So now that is done, we can continue. So now we'll come down to the legs. Just go ahead and untab this piece. Always hard to get a hold of. All right, and we can just move it on up. Then kind of bring this down a little bit. And then with that done, we can, if I'm remembering how to do this correctly, there we go. Move all of this around like so, bring that down, tuck that in, and then the foot will it's really stiff on there. There we go. Just took a little doing. So there we are. We've got a leg done. Maybe I think if things are wanting to stay put, yeah, okay. So now same thing here. This side untabs a little easier, so bring that up. This will all unfold that way, come down. This comes up like so. Push that into place. There we go. Oh, I didn't move that in. All right, there we have another leg done. Now we should be able to just bring all this down and it'll just softly tab into place. Start getting things situated here. And then as we see on this version, he's got a rod in there, so this all sticks into place. So we can just bend that in, bend that in, bring all that up, and then pretty much the last thing to work on here is to bring these down and then just kind of get him situated like we like him. Arms down, okay. Just get him standing. And yeah, there we are. There we have Clunker Bumblebee in his robot mode after a little bit of working on his arm. So now we'll go ahead and start on Barricade. We'll go ahead and just remove his idiotic little accessory there and start getting him transformed. Like B, we can just start pulling things apart and separating him. Just kind of start pulling things out, getting them untabbed. So we kind of got a good start here. So we can pull these apart and that will free up the arms. Same thing over here. Now we've got the arms free. Then we'll go ahead and kind of get the legs untucked here a little bit. We can go ahead and get the feet set up. That leg always taps in nice and loud there. And then we can work on this nonsense. So this entire thing, just kind of get the arms moved out of the way so you can see. All of this is on a hinge. And this I actually really like. So the roof and everything, you know, this whole part of the car really folds up really nice. So you've got this on this little thing that'll help it pivot. Just swing that around. It does become a teensy bit tough, but it will eventually get there. And then this is on a little ball joint in there, which will then allow it to swing around like such. And then the entire top of the car pretty much folds up in that nice little backpack, which is, I like that. I like that a lot. So then that exposes Barricade's head. Just bring that up and then get that joint moved out. And then we can bring all this back. And as you can see, there's a little tab in there. And then we can get that clicked in there. So with that done, we can get the legs totally ready to go. See if he can stand up. That's kind of the test here, if you got the legs done right. If he stands up. All right, he is standing. So now we'll work on the arms. The arms I really like. So, and the arms also kind of, while you're fiddling with stuff, the arms also kind of come undone on their own. So they kind of transform themselves almost. So we'll go ahead and start here with the hands. The hands just flip out and then bring that up. Snaps into place. Just grab his thumb. Really gotta pull it. There we go. So we have a evil hand rising up out of the ashes. Cliche. And then this is on a double hinge here, as you can see. And then that will just fold up like that. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the windows here on the door, and then they're just on a little hinge, and you can fold them back. And then with that, we've pretty much got an arm done. So same thing over here. Slip out the hand. That'll come up. Click into place. Bring out the thumb. The thumb works a little better on this hand. It wants to cooperate a little bit more. Just bring that up as such, and then this window is all flippy floppy. It doesn't really like to stay in there. As you can see, when it's bent down, everything it's almost kind of threatening to come off. So come on, you there. And then finally, really just kind of get him finished off here. We have these pieces here, which we can angle upward, and then they will just softly tab in up there. And I think, and then really the last thing to show you, which it kind of ends up doing this on itself, is that, you know, this thing's on this little hinge here, and then that just kind of pushes up into there. It doesn't really tab into anything. It just kind of has a slot that it fits into. And then we'll just get Barricade standing, and then we are done. And so then here we have Clunker Bumblebee and Barricade in their robot modes, and I also did properly get Bee's arm fixed, so it is now exactly as it is supposed to be. So we'll go ahead and take a look at Bumblebee first. So here he is in his robot mode. Looks pretty good. You know, obviously has the bumps and the scrapes and all the stuff on the doors. The rest of the robot mode looks pretty clean. Most of that stuff is all cosmetics. That goes on like the top of the car, and it's a little bit more visible around here. So the robot mode still looks pretty clean, but of course all that cosmetic stuff is a little bit more evident in his vehicle mode. So face sculpt, same as on the original. A couple more scrapes there, but overall, still a good looking figure with a lot of nice molded detail. So, for a direct comparison, here he is with Studio Series 01B. So, as we can see, pretty much identical in every way, minus the paint apps. And as we can see on here, it's a pretty obvious gap back there, because there is some stuff that is not there because, again, in the middle of transforming it, just popped off. So that's how this one works. So now that I've got this guy, I'm not sure this one's ever, because this guy's gonna, this guy's gonna get transformed back into vehicle mode for display purposes, and I'm not sure he's ever coming out of vehicle mode. So here they are in the back. Oh, Clunker Bee is wanting to fall over a little bit. No, you don't. So we can tell who is who by the shin plates there. So overall, it is nice to see a direct comparison between the two and the slight improvements that were made on this figure as compared to this one. So we'll go ahead and move him back. And now we will take a closer look at Barricade. Now, for the issues I have with Barricade's vehicle mode, those issues do not come across when it comes to Barricade's robot mode, which is amazing. This robot mode is so good. In terms of robot mode, this is the best looking Barricade toy that's been released ever. I feel like the only exception may be like Masterpiece, but that doesn't even count. I'm talking like regular mainline toys, because Masterpiece is supposed to be super detailed and all that. But this Studio Series Barricade just looks really good. Get up close on the head sculpt here. The head sculpt looks really good. If you look closely, if the lighting wants to work, you can see that Barricade does have all four of his little beady eyes painted in there, and a little bit of hair on him. Get off of there. There you go. Thank you. So, overall, a very good looking head sculpt. His traditional kind of windows on the back, of course, they're on his arms, and they're not, they're not on his back like they're supposed to be. So instead, we have these little rubber bits kind of pretending to be them. Instead, that's slightly annoying to me. But it's not a total deal breaker, and then, like, from certain angles, they do disappear. But then from others, they're still there, they're still evident, so it still has that look. So it's like, no, this is fine. It's fine. I do really like the way that the chest looks. It looks very accurate to the film, and it's a clever way to achieve that look, because, of course, his chest in the film kind of all contorts, and it ends up in a bunch of shapes that it wouldn't necessarily... it's hard to replicate that in the toy, so I do really like how they got around that. They even went so far as to add in these little greebly things. I'm not even sure what these are supposed to be. They're just like little random plates to give him more of a robotic machine look or something like that, and it works pretty well. So so the fact that they actually managed to put that on to a deluxe figure of this scale, I think just is wow. It's like, I can't believe they actually managed to pull that off, so that's really cool. So then for a direct comparison with Barricade, instead of bringing in the 07 toy, we're going to bring in Dark of the Moon Barricade from 2011. So prior to this guy, this was my favorite Barricade toy. The transformation was a little but the vehicle mode, but the robot mode was definitely an improvement over the 2007 version, and this is even an improvement over the 2011 version. So, this Barricade, he does get his windows up where they actually belong, and they're not stuck on his arms. But compared to this guy, like the chest is really protruding, and then of course you've got kind of the back of the car just kind of tucked here on he's got some big old thighs because of that. But so this Barricade is much more cleaner. His hands are huge compared to this Barricade. That was one of the things that really made me appreciate this guy back in the days. This one actually had hands as opposed to the 2007 version. And on this guy, the flip out plate to kind of make that shape was really admirable at the time. I really appreciated that. I thought they did a good job with that. But this guy is just an improvement over this one in every single way. I really like this face sculpt. I think it does a pretty good job for what it's trying to do. But this one is just, if we can kind of get them here to compare. Yeah, I mean this one's just a lot closer to what we see in the actual film. So, yeah. And then just look at the feet. The feet, it's not even a contest. That whole just the detailing on the feet on this guy is just a vast improvement. So, yeah, Barricade's vehicle mode I'm a little iffy on because of the fact that not everything really clicks into place, and of course that annoying rubber piece on the front. But the robot mode, pretty good. I'm really happy with the robot mode. Now, of course, Bee and Barricade both come with their own accessories. So here, again, is Bee's little arm cannon. Again, I have actually fixed the arm this time, so we can just remove that and maybe get that plugged in place if it wants to. Okay, I've just broken it again, for Pete's sake. Okay, well, something I will say about this version of Bee is that I've noticed that this doesn't tab in as well as it does on the other version I have. That's one thing that the 01, the Studio Series 01, that figure, it tabs in pretty well, but it's pretty loose on Clunker Bee here. So, okay, there we go. I think we finally got it in place. So yeah, here is Bee's arm cannon, which just looks silly. The completely silver thing just looks silly. So we're going to remove that, hopefully, without ripping the entire thing off. Okay. Overall, I am noticing that the joints on this one are a lot looser too. I don't know if that's because this is like leftover stock that they had, and that's why they did this 2-pack or what. And so the joints are just a little looser because of that, or what, I don't really know. Might get him set up properly there. And so then here we have, of course, Studio Series 01's cannon. Come on. Man, it just... What is it with this? It's hard to get the cannon in place on the other one. I kind of wonder if maybe this port's a little too big. So there we go. That's a lot better. That looks much better. So yeah, there's Bee with his proper arm cannon in place. Not this. This will just end up sticking onto the back of Clunker Bee. So man, I've got quite the... and there's his other arm. So I've got quite the collection of Bumblebee parts over here now off screen. So and then Barricade. I mean, I guess I have to show it off, but his thing's really, and this is the. So if we collapse his hand back like that, then this goes in underneath, like so. Okay, maybe I should close it all the way. There we go. Or hold on. There we go. That's how it works. Not well, but and so yeah, there is yay, that's this thing is so bad. I just don't really like this thing at all. It's like, oh no, Bumblebee, I'm coming to attack you with a spinning blade of. I mean, it looked cool in the film, but what they've come up with here for. I mean, this is just dumb. This is just dumb. I don't like this. So this will just remain off in the side in a corner somewhere on my shelf amongst other discarded accessories that don't really work so great. So. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. So yeah, I like these figures. Obviously, each of them kind of has their own problems, but overall they're pretty good. So yeah, obviously he had kind of a weak connection point, but thankfully that was part of the point of upgrading is that I could give him now this is like the ultimate B, is that he's got the better paint job, he's got a better arm, he's got the rod in him, so this doesn't be all flippy floppy and just fall off, so that's really nice. And then Barricade, the robot mode looks gorgeous. His accessory is dumb, and the vehicle mode has some problems staying together sometimes if you can't finagle things just right. But overall, these are two good figures, and I kind of am glad that I got this in the 2-pack, because I definitely wouldn't have gotten this guy on his own, and then and I missed out on that guy originally by happenstance. So it's a decent 2-pack. I like this as a 2-pack. It works really well, and of course we can open it up. And then the nice thing about this being a 2-pack is that now, like every Studio Series toy, it comes with the backdrop. But this one is big enough to hold 2 figures, even though they're because like the leader class ones would probably hold multiple figures, but that's meant for the leader class figure. But this this is a deluxe sized backdrop meant for deluxes, and it can hold 2. So now you've got a bigger backdrop. So that's really cool. I do like the fact that there's a bigger backdrop for both the figures to sit on. The one thing that would have made this just the teeniest bit better if there's if it came with one of those small statuettes of Sam running around or something. But that's that's not even a nitpick. That's just hey, it would have been cool if they did it, but it's not a big deal that they didn't. So yeah, that'll be it for this review. Like I said earlier, this is a Target exclusive, this Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. So if you missed out on one or both of these figures, this is a pretty decent way to pick both of them up. And there are also other Buzzworthy Bumblebee 2-packs that it's like there's Dropkick and Beetlebee. I think Jeep B and Shatter something along the lines of that. And then High Octane B and Stinger from Age of Extinction. So there are some nice ways to get a hold of some older toys if you accidentally missed out on them. So yeah, pretty nice they're doing this. So go ahead and check up your local Targets if you are interested. So that'll be it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.